We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. In today's noisy world, where opinions flood our screens and conversations often turn into competitions, the power of silence feels like a lost art. Yet, in the wisdom of Stoicism, silence is far from passive. It's a deliberate and profound tool for self-mastery, emotional control, and resilience. Choosing when to hold back words can shield us from unnecessary harm, foster deeper understanding, and pave the way for personal growth. What if the secret to navigating life's chaos lies not in speaking louder, but in mastering the eloquence of silence? How will you choose to use it today? If this resonates with you, subscribe to our channel for more life-changing lessons inspired by ancient Stoic philosophy. Now, let's dive into how the art of silence can transform your daily interactions and strengthen your inner peace. Key principles of Stoic philosophy on silence. Zeno said that better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. In a world of instant reactions and constant noise, the timeless wisdom of Stoicism reminds us of the power of restraint. Zeno's profound words caution us against the perils of unchecked speech. A stumble of the tongue can leave scars far deeper than any physical misstep. How often do we regret words spoken in haste, driven by anger or impulse? These moments leave us with lingering guilt, strained relationships, and a desire to turn back time, only to realize that spoken words cannot be unsaid. The Stoics, masters of self-discipline and inner strength, knew that controlling our speech is one of the highest forms of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher, echoed this sentiment when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we pause before speaking, when we choose silence over impulsive words, we reclaim our inner power. It is not weakness to remain quiet. Rather, it is a sign of profound control over oneself. Imagine this. Someone criticizes you unfairly in a heated moment. The instinct is to snap back, to defend, to retaliate. Yet, what if, instead, you paused and remained silent? By doing so, you strip the aggressor of their power over your emotions. You create space for reflection, allowing wisdom to guide your next move rather than anger. This is the essence of Stoic silence, not passive avoidance, but a deliberate, powerful act of self-control. Zeno's teaching invites us to reflect on the ripple effects of our words. A careless comment can strain a friendship, an impulsive outburst can damage a reputation. The Stoics urge us to see our speech as a tool, wield it with intention, or risk it becoming a weapon that harms others and ourselves. Silence, in contrast, is a shield, a way to protect our peace and values in moments of turmoil. The practical applications of this lesson are endless. Whether navigating workplace tensions, resolving conflicts at home, or addressing disagreements with friends, the ability to pause and consider before speaking is transformative. Silence doesn't mean surrendering your voice, it means choosing when and how to use it for the greatest good. This practice aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control. We cannot dictate how others behave or what they say, but we can control our responses. In choosing silence, we preserve our dignity, maintain clarity of thought, and often inspire respect from others. So, as we navigate the noise of modern life, let us ask ourselves, what would our relationships, our inner peace, and our legacy look like if we embraced the wisdom of measured speech? How might our lives change if we learn to master the art of silence, letting our actions and integrity speak louder than impulsive words? How will you choose to use the power of silence today? Marcus Aurelius, perspective. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Criticism is an inevitable part of life. At work, in relationships, or even from strangers, we often encounter words or actions that seem to wound us deeply. Yet, Marcus Aurelius reminds us of a liberating truth. The pain we feel does not come from the criticism itself, but from the meaning we assign to it. In other words, it's not the external event that hurts us, but how we perceive and react to it. This perspective offers a profound shift in mindset, one that allows us to transform criticism from a source of distress into a tool for growth. Imagine receiving harsh feedback on a project you've worked hard on. The instinctive response might be to feel defensive, perhaps even angry, as you interpret the criticism as a personal attack. But what if you viewed it differently? What if, instead of seeing it as an affront, you saw it as an opportunity to refine your skills and improve your approach? This shift in perspective, rooted in Stoic philosophy, empowers you to rise above defensiveness and turn every piece of feedback, no matter how harsh, into a step toward personal growth. The ability to see criticism as a mirror, reflecting areas for improvement, is a hallmark of resilience. Marcus Aurelius invites us to take control of how we process external opinions, to focus on what is within our power, our response. By doing so, we reclaim our peace and avoid being drawn into unnecessary emotional turmoil. This is not about suppressing your feelings, but about choosing to channel them constructively. Consider the impact of adopting this mindset. When someone criticizes you unfairly, staying calm and composed demonstrates strength and wisdom. It allows you to evaluate the feedback objectively, keeping what is useful and discarding what is baseless. Over time, this approach builds not only inner resilience, but also a reputation for grace under pressure, qualities that earn respect and trust from those around you. Moreover, viewing criticism as a chance to grow aligns perfectly with the Stoic emphasis on self-improvement. Life's challenges, including negative feedback, are opportunities to refine ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This advice encourages action over reaction, urging us to use criticism as a stepping stone toward becoming the best version of ourselves. So, as you navigate the inevitable criticisms of life, ask yourself, what if each harsh word or unfair judgment was not a wound, but a gift? A chance to learn, grow, and strengthen your character. How will you choose to see the next piece of criticism that comes your way, as a threat to your ego or as an invitation to greatness? So the application of silence in life. The power of silence, handling unfair criticism and heated arguments. Silence is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness, passivity, or avoidance. Yet, in the philosophy of Stoicism, silence is a strategic tool, a mark of self-control, wisdom, and emotional resilience. Knowing when to speak and when to remain silent can save us from unnecessary conflict and create opportunities for personal growth. Two key areas where silence proves invaluable are in responding to unfair criticism and managing heated arguments. 1. When facing unfair criticism. Unfair criticism is an experience most of us encounter, whether at work, in personal relationships, or in public life. The natural reaction to such criticism is often defensive, explaining, justifying, or retaliating. However, as the Stoics teach us, choosing silence instead can de-escalate conflict and demonstrate strength. The wisdom of silence over defense. When someone criticizes you unjustly, the instinctive response may be to immediately defend yourself. While this reaction is understandable, it often leads to more conflict, as the other party may double down on their stance. By remaining silent, you refuse to fuel the flames of confrontation. Silence, in this context, is not about conceding to the criticism, but about refusing to let it control your emotions or actions. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By choosing not to engage, you take control of the situation. Instead of reacting impulsively, you create space for thoughtful reflection and maintain your inner peace. Turning criticism into a learning opportunity. Rather than letting unfair criticism upset you, use it as an opportunity for self-evaluation. Silence grants you the mental clarity to assess the feedback objectively. Is there any truth in the critique? If so, acknowledge it and use it to improve. If the criticism is baseless or malicious, let it go without allowing it to disturb your peace of mind. For example, imagine a colleague unfairly blames you for a mistake at work during a meeting. Responding defensively in the heat of the moment could escalate the tension. Instead, a composed silence allows you to calmly review the situation later. You may realize the accusation was unfounded or discover a way to address it professionally without damaging your reputation. This approach aligns with Epictetus's teaching. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By focusing on what you can control, your response, you transform criticism into a stepping stone for growth rather than a source of frustration. Two, in heated arguments. Few things are as emotionally charged as a heated argument. Whether with a loved one, a friend, or a colleague, these moments test our ability to stay calm and composed. In such situations, silence is an essential tool for reducing tension and preserving relationships. The role of silence in reducing tension. During an argument, emotions can run high, making it easy to say things we later regret. Reacting immediately often intensifies the conflict, as both parties become more entrenched in their positions. Silence, however, disrupts this cycle. By pausing instead of responding impulsively, you allow the emotional intensity to subside, creating space for rational thinking. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. Seneca advised, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Silence provides this delay, enabling you to process your emotions and choose a response that aligns with your values, rather than reacting from a place of frustration. Imagine a situation where a friend accuses you of being unsupportive during a difficult time. Your first instinct might be to argue, explaining all the ways you've been there for them. But in doing so, you risk invalidating their feelings or escalating the argument. Instead, remaining silent allows you to hear their concerns fully and respond with empathy after careful consideration. Avoiding the consequences of angry words. Words spoken in anger often lead to unintended consequences, damaging relationships and trust. The Stoics emphasized the importance of self-control, particularly in speech. As Zeno wisely observed, better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. When you choose silence in the midst of anger, you avoid saying things you cannot take back. This restraint not only preserves the relationship, but also protects your integrity. Over time, this habit of thoughtful silence fosters deeper trust and mutual respect in your interactions. For instance, during a heated argument with a partner about household responsibilities, responding with hurtful words may win the argument momentarily, but could cause lasting harm to the relationship. By staying silent, you signal your willingness to prioritize the relationship over the need to win. Later, when both parties are calmer, you can address the issue constructively. 3. Facing provocation. Provocation is a test of emotional resilience. Whether it's a deliberate insult, a sarcastic remark, or an attempt to belittle you, provocation often seeks to destabilize your inner peace. The provocateur's ultimate goal is to elicit a reaction, to pull you into their game. Stoicism offers a compelling antidote: silence. Disarming the power of the provocateur. When someone insults or provokes you, their words are a tool to gain control over your emotions. They aim to spark anger, frustration, or defensiveness. However, by remaining silent, you deny them the satisfaction of a reaction. Silence sends a clear and powerful message. You are in control of yourself, not them. Epictetus captures this principle succinctly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By choosing not to react, you preserve your dignity and show emotional strength. The provocateur, deprived of their expected outcome, is left powerless. For example, imagine a colleague makes a sarcastic comment about your work in a meeting. Responding with irritation or a cutting remark might escalate the tension and create an uncomfortable atmosphere. Instead, by remaining silent, you demonstrate composure. The lack of response often exposes the provocateur's behavior to others, making them appear petty or unprofessional while you remain poised. Refusing to engage in their game. Silence also communicates that you refuse to participate in the provocateur's game. Provocation thrives on engagement. Without it, the cycle breaks. This approach aligns with Marcus Aurelius's advice. You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. By staying silent, you assert that your emotions and energy are not at the mercy of others. This refusal to engage not only neutralizes the immediate provocation, but also reinforces your own sense of self-worth. You are not defined by another's attempt to provoke you, transforming provocation into growth. Facing provocation is also an opportunity to cultivate patience and resilience. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you strengthen your ability to maintain composure in challenging situations. Over time, this practice builds a foundation of emotional stability that serves you in all areas of life. Four, in moments of reflection. In today's fast-paced world, silence is often overlooked as a tool for introspection. Yet moments of quiet are essential for understanding ourselves, making thoughtful decisions, and living with purpose. Stoicism encourages us to embrace silence as a gateway to deeper self-awareness and clarity. Seeing yourself clearly. In silence, distractions fade, allowing us to see ourselves with greater honesty and objectivity. Without the noise of external opinions or daily busyness, we can reflect on our actions, thoughts, and emotions. This practice aligns with the Stoic principle of self-examination, as expressed by Seneca. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. Consider the value of taking time each evening to reflect on the day. What did you do well? Where could you improve? Silence creates the mental space to analyze these questions without judgment, fostering a mindset of continuous growth. Analyzing problems. Objectively, when faced with a difficult decision or a complex problem, silence allows us to step back and examine the situation from multiple angles. In moments of quiet reflection, we can detach from the emotional intensity of the problem and consider it more rationally. For example, imagine you're deciding whether to accept a new job offer. The excitement of the opportunity might cloud your judgment, leading to impulsive decisions. Taking time for silent reflection helps you weigh the pros and cons objectively, ensuring your choice aligns with your long-term goals and values. This approach reflects Marcus Aurelius's teaching: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. By focusing inward, we gain clarity and control over our responses to external challenges. Making wiser decisions. Silence fosters a thoughtful, deliberate approach to decision-making. When we rush into decisions without reflection, we risk acting on impulse or incomplete information. Silence, however, provides the necessary pause to evaluate our options and choose wisely. For instance, imagine you're navigating a conflict with a friend. Immediate reactions, whether defensiveness or blame, could exacerbate the issue. Instead, stepping away into silence allows you to process your emotions, understand your friend's perspective, and approach the conversation with empathy and clarity. The benefits of silence: a Stoic perspective on reflection, discipline, and inner strength. Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Zeno. In our fast-paced world, silence is often misunderstood. Many see it as a sign of weakness or hesitation, but in the wisdom of Stoicism, silence is a profound and intentional act. It is a tool for self-mastery, a shield against unnecessary conflict, and a pathway to inner peace. When applied thoughtfully, silence becomes a transformative practice with deep benefits, from enhancing critical thinking to fostering self-discipline and earning respect. Let's explore the invaluable lessons the Stoics taught us about the power of silence. 1. Enhancing critical thinking. In moments of silence, we grant ourselves the gift of time to pause, reflect, and respond, rather than react impulsively. This deliberate pause is crucial for cultivating clarity and wisdom. Reflection. Overreaction. Silence allows us to step back from emotionally charged situations and assess them objectively. Instead of reacting based on instinct, we can analyze the broader context, evaluate the potential outcomes, and align our response with our values. As Epictetus famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." For instance, consider a heated conversation where you feel the urge to defend yourself. A moment of silence can provide the clarity needed to decide whether a response is even necessary or if the best course of action is to let the situation pass. This restraint prevents escalation and fosters a more thoughtful dialogue, building patience and focus. The practice of silence also strengthens patience, a virtue the Stoics held in high regard. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we choose silence, we train ourselves to focus on what truly matters, rather than getting caught up in distractions or fleeting emotions. By pausing to reflect, we sharpen our ability to concentrate on long-term goals and avoid being swayed by temporary frustrations. Over time, this practice cultivates a calm, measured approach to challenges, enabling us to think clearly and act wisely. 2. Protecting yourself from unnecessary conflict. Conflict often arises from miscommunication, misunderstandings, or the need to defend our egos. Silence, when used strategically, helps us avoid unnecessary disputes and conserve our energy for more meaningful pursuits. Avoiding fruitless arguments. When we engage in every argument, we expend valuable mental and emotional resources. The Stoics believed in choosing battles wisely and refraining from debates that offer no constructive resolution. Seneca cautioned, "Better to be silent than to dispute where there is no prospect of convincing." For example, in situations where someone criticizes you unfairly or speaks out of anger, silence can diffuse tension. It signals that you refuse to be drawn into pointless confrontations. Instead of retaliating, you maintain control over your emotions, protecting your peace and dignity. Preserving mental energy. Silence is also a way to conserve energy that might otherwise be wasted on negativity. By refusing to engage in trivial conflicts, you reserve your mental strength for challenges that genuinely require your attention. This aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and responses, rather than being consumed by the behavior of others. 3. Strengthening self-discipline. Self-discipline is at the core of Stoic philosophy, and silence is one of its most powerful expressions. By learning to control our speech, we cultivate the discipline necessary to master other areas of our lives. The discipline of holding your tongue. Zeno's words remind us of the importance of mindful speech. Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Speaking without thought often leads to regret, strained relationships, or unintended consequences. Silence, on the other hand, demonstrates control over our impulses. Imagine being in a meeting where emotions are running high and the temptation to interject is strong. Choosing silence in such moments not only prevents you from saying something you might later regret, but also shows restraint, a key aspect of discipline. Applying silence to broader goals. The discipline learned through silence extends beyond communication. It reinforces habits of patience, focus, and intentionality. As you practice pausing before speaking, you strengthen your ability to pause before acting, an essential skill for pursuing long-term goals and overcoming challenges. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated this beautifully. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Silence teaches us to act and speak with integrity, ensuring that our words and deeds align with our values. 4. Earning respect from others. Silence, particularly when practiced with poise and confidence, commands respect. It conveys self-assurance, emotional intelligence, and a sense of inner strength. The power of calm confidence. When you remain silent in moments where others expect a reaction, you demonstrate control over your emotions. This restraint often surprises and impresses those around you, as it signals maturity and composure. Consider the example of a leader who listens attentively in a heated discussion, speaking only after carefully considering their response. This approach not only diffuses tension, but also earns the respect of colleagues who value thoughtful and measured communication. Leading by example. The Stoics believed that our actions should speak louder than our words. By practicing silence, you inspire others to adopt a more thoughtful approach to communication. Your calm demeanor sets a standard for respectful and productive interactions, fostering trust and admiration. As Epictetus observed, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Silence allows you to demonstrate your values through your behavior rather than your words, creating a lasting impression on those around you. The importance of silence in modern society. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Epictetus. In today's fast-paced world, where the constant buzz of social media, relentless news cycles, and societal pressures dominate our lives, silence has become a rare and undervalued virtue. Yet, the wisdom of Stoicism reminds us that silence is not just the absence of noise. It is a powerful tool for self-mastery, reflection, and meaningful connection. Those who understand when to speak and when to remain silent demonstrate a level of self-control that earns them respect and admiration. In a world that often rewards loudness, the strength of quiet restraint stands out. Silence as strength. The Stoics believed that silence was an active force, not a passive retreat. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." This advice rings especially true today. With the constant pressure to voice opinions, react to every headline, and participate in every debate, choosing silence can be a revolutionary act of self-preservation. Silence, in the face of chaos, shows resilience. It demonstrates that you are not swayed by the noise of the world, but are anchored by your own principles. This self-mastery, the ability to pause and reflect before reacting, is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Cultivating wisdom through silence. In a society obsessed with instant gratification and quick responses, silence fosters wisdom. Epictetus taught that by listening more and speaking less, we open ourselves to greater understanding. This principle is especially relevant in today's social media age, where hasty comments often lead to misunderstandings or conflict. Silence gives us the space to think deeply, assess situations objectively, and respond intentionally. For example, consider a heated online discussion. While others rush to comment, you choose to step back, evaluate the conversation, and decide whether your input will truly add value. This deliberate choice not only prevents unnecessary conflict, but also preserves your energy and peace of mind. Silence and emotional control. The ability to remain silent in emotionally charged situations is a hallmark of inner strength. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we choose silence in the face of provocation, we refuse to give others control over our emotions. This restraint not only diffuses tension, but also demonstrates confidence and composure. Imagine a colleague criticizes your work in a meeting. Instead of responding defensively, you remain silent, listen calmly, and address their concerns later with clarity and professionalism. Your silence in the moment sends a powerful message. You are grounded and unshaken by external noise. The respect. Silence commands. Silence, when practiced with intention, commands respect. It reflects thoughtfulness, self-assurance, and a commitment to meaningful communication. Those who use silence wisely inspire trust and admiration, as they are perceived as deliberate and composed. For example, great leaders often pause before answering questions or making decisions. This silence signals that they are considering all perspectives and choosing their words carefully. It's a practice that we can all adopt to foster deeper connections and stronger relationships. Conclusion: the timeless power of silence. In a world overwhelmed by noise, the practice of silence is more valuable than ever. It allows us to regain control of our minds, cultivate wisdom, and navigate life with grace and intention. The Stoics understood this timeless truth. Silence is not emptiness, it is power. As you move through the noise of modern life, ask yourself, how might embracing silence strengthen your relationships, sharpen your focus, and protect your inner peace? Could mastering the art of silence transform not only how you live, but also how others see you? The answers lie in your next moment of quiet. The Stoic Art of Silence, a path to mastery, character, and humility. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. In a world of constant chatter and instant reactions, the wisdom of silence feels like an ancient relic. Yet, for the Stoics, silence is not the absence of words, but a deliberate act of self-mastery, a shield against chaos, and a foundation for inner growth. By understanding and applying the Stoic philosophy of silence, we gain the tools to navigate life's challenges with grace, clarity, and purpose. Let us delve into the profound lessons from Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and the Stoic tradition on why silence matters and how it can transform your life. 1. Controlling what is within your power. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the principle of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." This core idea applies perfectly to the practice of silence. While we cannot control others' actions, words, or attitudes, we can always control our response. Silence as a tool for composure. When faced with conflict, criticism, or provocation, our first impulse might be to react, defend, argue, or retaliate. But as the Stoics teach, reacting impulsively only gives power to the external event. Silence, on the other hand, allows us to reclaim our control. It is an active choice that maintains our composure and keeps us grounded in our values. For example, imagine a heated discussion at work where someone unfairly criticizes your efforts. Reacting defensively may escalate the tension, while responding with silence creates space for reflection and thoughtful action later. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you always have the option of having no opinion. Choosing silence in such moments is an assertion of strength, not weakness. Staying focused amid distractions. In today's noisy world, where everyone competes to be heard, silence is a way to center yourself and stay focused on what truly matters. When we refrain from engaging in unnecessary debates or arguments, we conserve our energy for pursuits that align with our goals and values. This practice not only protects our peace, but also sharpens our focus, allowing us to live more intentionally. 2. Developing character and inner growth. Silence is more than just a response to external events, it is a space for self-reflection and personal development. The Stoics believed that growth begins within, and silence is the fertile ground where this growth takes root. Nurturing self-understanding. In moments of silence, we step away from the distractions of the world and turn inward. This quiet allows us to examine our thoughts, emotions, and actions with honesty. Seneca advised, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Silence helps us identify our strengths and weaknesses, align with our values, and refine our character. Consider the daily practice of reflection, as recommended by Marcus Aurelius. At the end of each day, spend a few moments in silence to evaluate your actions. Did they align with your principles? Were there moments where you could have acted more wisely? This habit nurtures self-awareness and a commitment to continuous improvement. Aligning actions with values. Silence also empowers us to live authentically. In a world that often pressures us to conform, it is easy to lose sight of our values. By taking time to reflect in silence, we ensure that our decisions and actions are guided by our principles rather than external influences. This practice fosters integrity and a sense of purpose, helping us live a life that is true to who we are. 3. Avoiding arrogance and boasting. In environments that demand self-promotion or validation, silence is a powerful expression of humility and maturity. Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." B1. The humility of silence. Silence, particularly in situations where we might be tempted to boast or prove ourselves, reflects confidence and humility. It shows that we do not need external validation to affirm our worth. Instead, our actions and character speak for themselves. For instance, imagine being part of a group discussion where everyone is eager to showcase their achievements. Choosing silence in such a scenario sets you apart. It signals that you are secure in your accomplishments and do not need to seek approval. Over time, this quiet confidence earns respect and admiration. Strength in restraint. The Stoics viewed restraint as a mark of strength. By resisting the urge to boast or dominate conversations, we demonstrate control over our ego. This discipline not only fosters humility, but also creates space for deeper, more meaningful connections with others. Practical applications of silence in daily life. The lessons of Stoic silence are timeless and practical. Here are ways to integrate this philosophy into your life. Pause before responding. When confronted with criticism or conflict, take a moment of silence to reflect. Ask yourself, will my response add value or escalate the situation? Create space for reflection. Dedicate time each day for silent introspection. Use this time to evaluate your actions, align with your values, and plan your next steps. Avoid unnecessary arguments. Refrain from engaging in debates that serve no constructive purpose. Silence can often communicate more powerfully than words. Practice humility. In situations where self-promotion is expected, let your actions speak for themselves. Trust that your character will shine without the need for words. Embrace mindfulness. Engage in activities that encourage quiet, such as meditation or nature walks, to deepen your appreciation for silence and its benefits. The transformative power of silence. The Stoics understood that silence is not emptiness, it is power. It is a way to master our responses, nurture our inner growth, and live authentically. By embracing silence, we gain the clarity to focus on what truly matters, the strength to remain composed in the face of challenges, and the humility to let our actions speak louder than our words. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This truth is as relevant today as it was in ancient times. So, as you navigate the noise of modern life, ask yourself, how might silence help you regain control over your mind and actions? What opportunities for growth, peace, and purpose could you uncover by mastering the art of stillness? The answers lie not in what you say, but in the quiet moments where wisdom takes root. Silence, as taught by Stoic philosophy, is not avoidance. It's a powerful strategy, a pinnacle of self-mastery, personal growth, and clarity during life's toughest moments. It's the pause that enables you to rise above the noise, turn challenges into opportunities, and radiate wisdom that commands respect. In a world that often mistakes loudness for value, choosing silence is an act of quiet rebellion, a declaration that your peace and principles are non-negotiable. By practicing the art of timely silence, you not only protect your inner calm but also elevate your character, leaving an impression far louder than words ever could. So, the next time life tests you, ask yourself, will you let chaos dictate your actions, or will you wield the transformative power of silence to take control? The answer lies not in what you say, but in the strength of your quiet resolve within.